Imagine selling holy water for 100 bob and ending up in a private jet. Imagine telling someone with HIV they're cured just because they paid you 400,000 shillings. Now imagine doing all that in the name of Jesus. Welcome to Kenya, where preaching is not just a calling, it's a career path, a business model, a tax-free, drama-filled, Range Rover certified path to millionaire status. This is not your Sunday sermon. This is the gospel of greed.
You have a big boobs.
No, like these are just things that you're gonna enjoy touching.
Fake miracles, rigged lotteries, doomsday cults.
The CBC, nini? Comprehensive Sex Education. Hiyo ni utakatifu.
Welcome to the underworld of Kenyan Christianity, where faith is currency, followers are capital, and salvation has a heavy price tag.
Blessed people, thank you so much. The Lord bless you indeed. Amen. Yes, I will see you. So you guys are going by road, eh?
Yes,
just watch the vehicles on the road because the road is a bit
yes.
In a country where 85% of people identify as Christian, you'd think thou shalt not steal would apply to pastors. Plot twist, it doesn't. Kenya has over 4,000 registered churches and about 40,000 unregistered ones. Some are spiritual sanctuaries, but others straight up spiritual Ponzi schemes. And their founders, let's just say they didn't read the New Testament, they studied the business section. Let me introduce the cast of divine deception. Pastor James Nganga, Prophet Kanyari, Ezekiel Odero, Prophet Maina, Lucy Ndusha, Gilbert Dare, and Paul Mackenzie. Each one had a different hustle, but they all played the same game. Exploit hope, fake the miracle, collect the tithe. They don't wear masks or carry guns. Their weapon is the pulpit. Their getaway car, usually a Prado or the latest V8. But if you thought this was just about the money, wait till you meet the prophet who made HIV disappear, sins bleed out of your feet, and turned church service into a chemistry lab demos. Welcome to the Kanyari era. Let's start with a bang, or should I say, a splash of fake blood. It's 2014. Pastor Victor Kanyari is riding high as Kenya's hottest miracle worker. His church, Salvation Healing Ministry. His gift, healing people on live TV. His followers, disparate, hopeful, and generous with their M-Pesa. Week after week, people watch in awe as the congregants screamed and cried and collapsed, claiming they were being healed of incurable diseases. And the one that I found most disturbing is when Kanyari claimed HIV-positive blood poured out of bodies during his service. There's just one tiny problem. It was not blood, it's high school chemistry. Hidden cameras reveal Kanyari's miracle is actually potassium permanganate mixed with water and some stuff you'd use in a Kenyan secondary school chemistry lab. Drop it in a glass, stir it up, and boom, you have an instant demon blood flowing from the faithful. But here's where it gets really twisted. Kanyari didn't just fake miracles, he literally put a price on salvation itself. His magic number, 310 shillings.
Kidi sikuwa na pesa ndio maana nikaanza na kuitisha 310. Sema pada begu ya 310 na tusibishane. Sikutaka kwangu. Umaskini ulikuwa umenitandika sawa sawa lakini nilikuwa na
send exactly that amount via mobile money and God, according to Pastor Kanyari, will personally handle your problems. The reference, Malachi 3:10. Because nothing says divine intervention like a biblical marketing scheme. And the beautiful part, when investigative journalists exposed him on national TV with actual video evidence of his scams, Kanyari's response wasn't shame, it was pride. He bragged about becoming an instant celebrity and reminding everyone that every church eats money.
Yani mimi ndio nilikuwa mhubiri mwenye ninaongea Nairobi ya kukua. Ezekiel hawakuwa, Nganga hawakuwa. Mimi ndio nilikuwa naongea hii the city of town.
Class, pure class. But wait, you think fake blood is shocking? That's amateur hour compared to what I'm about to show you next. Because some pastors don't just steal your money, they steal actual babies. Meet Gilbert Dare, the man who convinced infertile women he could make them pregnant through the power of prayer. Sounds impossible, right? That's because it was.
Even the things which I do, them are not happy with them. And people have to know them. So if you know them, so you decide you don't need to follow Gilbert there, This is up to you.
While disparate couples handed over their life savings for divine conception, Dea was running a baby trafficking operation that will make your skin crawl. BBC investigators uncovered the truth. At least 20 stolen infants were being passed off as miracle babies to couples who thought God had blessed them. Picture this nightmare. You're told your barren womb has produced a miracle baby through prayer. You cradle what you believe is your heaven-sent baby. DNA tests later reveal it's a kidnapped infant, stolen from poor Kenyan families and sold to you as divine blessing. Dea fled to London when the heat got too intense. And here's the kicker. When he was finally extradited back in Kenya in 2023, he was acquitted due to insufficient evidence. 20 stolen babies, 2 decades of pain, 0 consequences.
I'm very, very truthful witness. In this my case, and that is what I can say.
That's not divine justice. That's a broken system blessing the worst kind of predator. Right now, you're probably thinking baby trafficking is the rock bottom of pastoral corruption. Think again, because we're about to meet the prophet who turned his own church into a live-action horror movie, complete with on-stage violence and threats of castration. Calls himself Chief Commander of Neno Evangelism Center. And trust me, that military title is not just for drama. This is the man of God who's been caught on camera physically assaulting congregation members, threatening to castrate male worshippers as suspects of lust, and calling his own junior pastors cows, takataka, and kiosks.
I want full respect. Nikikoa unaitika. Kama vile muliitika mkiwa hamna kitu. Hata saa hizi mko na kitu mtaitika the same.
In one viral rant, Nganga literally screamed at his congregation.
I am the commander. Nitamung'oa meno, nitamung'oa. Hawezi kutoka kaburini aje aongee hapa. How? Masaa yake ya kuongea iliisha.
But that violence is not just verbal. More hidden footages show Nganga slapping and shoving female congregants to the floor while declaring they can do nothing to stop him. His defense is driving out demons, because nothing says love thy neighbor like a good old-fashioned beating during a Sunday service more violent than a Gor Mahia versus Mashemeji derby. And here is the truly disturbing part. His followers applaud, they defend him, they rationalize the abuse as tough love from their spiritual father. Oh, and did I mention he was also accused of causing a fatal car crash in 2015. A woman named Mercy Njeri died when Nganga's Range Rover allegedly slammed into her vehicle. Police claimed cover-up. Officers were charged with helping him evade justice. His punishment, acquitted in 2018, currently still preaching, still collecting offerings, still terrorizing his flock. You'd think after seeing pastors fake miracles, steal babies, assault worshippers, we'd have hit peak audacity. But no, some Kenyan prophets decided to skip the middleman entirely and just sell tickets to heaven. Bishop Thomas Wahome of Helicopter of Christ Church had a brilliant business model. Why promise people heaven when you can literally sell them the sneak peek? For exactly 1,000 shillings, about $8, Wahome will check if your name was in the book of life. Think of it as divine CRB report from Metropole. Pay up and the bishop will tell you if you are heaven-bound or hell-bound. But wait, there's more. For just 1,200 shillings, you could touch the bishop's sacred garment and receive instant healing, just as in the Bible. But the problem, unlike Jesus' miracles, you need a payment plan. Phone recordings captured his staff giving instructions, send M-Pesa and come tomorrow at 10 a.m. The bishop will tell you if you're in the book. This man literally monetized salvation. He put eternal life behind a paywall. And in a country where 1 in 4 people live on less than $1 a day, disparate believers were choosing between feeding their families and buying their way into heaven. Once again, right now, you're thinking selling heaven is evil. Wait until you meet the pastors who convince hundreds of people that the only way to reach God was to starve themselves to death.
Sikia Jumapili ijayo tunaenda mahali fulani, wewe fungasha virago hiyo wiki tuende wapi? Ulimwengu umetuchukia. Ulimwengu haututaki. Tutakuwa tumeelekea jangwani. Jangwani ni kuenda mafichoni.
April 2023, Shakahola Forest, coastal Kenya. Police discover what can only be described as a religious killing field over 400 bodies buried in shallow graves. The victims, followers of Pastor Paul Mackenzie, who convinced entire families that the only way to meet Jesus was through fasting until death. Let me repeat that. This man of God told parents to starve their children to death, and they did. Autopsies revealed the horror. Most died of starvation, but some of them showed signs of strangulation and blunt force trauma. Those who tried to resist the death order were murdered outright. But here's what will really make your blood boil. Mackenzie had been arrested multiple times before 2023 for lesser charges. Each time, he was released on bail and went right back to preaching death. 400 people, men, women and children, entire bloodlines wiped out because authorities could not bother to stop a madman with a Bible. The government called it Kenya's worst security breach in history. I call it what happens when we let wolves run the sheep pen. You might think the Shakahola massacre was the ultimate low point of Kenyan Christianity, but it gets worse because while Mackenzie was burying bodies, other pastors were busy turning faith into a literal gambling addiction. Prophet David Maina discovered something beautiful. Why just steal from your congregation when you can turn them into gambling addicts? Through his TV channels with names like Yahweh TV and Madhabau TV, Maina ran what can only be described as a sacred lottery scam. Here's how it worked. Send as little as 10 Kenya shillings via mobile money and you'd be entered to win a blessing, sometimes up to 50,000 shillings.
Manzi atekonyara. Wawili watatu ndio wabaki. Ukinipatia tiketi ya kwako ya 200, ukinipatia tiketi ya kwako ya 200 itakuwa multiplied by 100, hiyo itakuwa ni 20,000.
All you had to do was believe and pay, except nobody won. Ever. Secret recordings got Maina's team literally mocking the victims, laughing and saying, "Wizi ninakufunza, I'm teaching you theft," as if scamming disparate people was an honorable joke. Maina himself was caught on audio bragging about making 1.1 million shillings in a single day and 600,000 shillings daily during peak season. That's roughly $5,000 a day, tax-free, off the backs of Kenya's poorest believers. The human cost: an elderly woman lost her entire life saving trying to turn 10 shillings into 10,000 Kenya shillings. A widower gambled away all his children's school fees chasing a divine jackpot that never existed. And here's the shameful part. Maina would actually pray over the scam, asking God to bless their fraud operation. Because apparently even theft needs a little divine intervention. But hold on, we are not done with the prosperity preachers yet. Because some of these servants of God decided that modest theft wasn't enough. They wanted private jets, hanging swimming pools, and billion-shilling twin towers. Christmas 2016, Bishop Alan Kiona of Jubilee Christian Church posts a photo of a sleek Cessna Citation X private jet with the caption, price tag 2.1 billion shillings. That's roughly $20 million for a plane for a servant of God. The public uproar was immediate. Kiona quickly deleted the photo, claiming unknown people posted it as a prank, because apparently even bishops get hacked by jet-loving pranksters. But his wife, Reverend Kathy Kiona, doubled down. On CNN, she famously declared, "God called us to live a life and live well. You can be well off and still stay humble." Stay humble, eh? With a hanging swimming pool in a mansion while your congregants live in slums. That's not humility. That's psychological warfare. Meanwhile, Bishop Margaret Wanjiru was busy building a twin 12-story skyscraper, modeled after the New York Twin Towers, cost nearly $1 billion shillings. The source of money, a faithful flock's seed money. And Pastor Nganga, driving convoys of luxury SUVs while threatening to castrate anyone who questions his lifestyle. These aren't servants, they're kings ruling over kingdoms built on the sweat of Mama Mboga and Boda Boda. You know, what's worse than a greedy pastor? A prophet who builds a personality cult so powerful that educated, successful people abandon their careers and hand over $1 million properties just to be near him. Meet Dr. David Owuor, the man who convinced himself is literally Elijah returned to earth, and his followers, they bought it completely. Owuor doesn't just want your money, he wants your mind. His ministry refers to him with titles like the mightiest prophet of the Lord and the beholder of the golden keys. In 2019, a wealthy Nairobi lawyer named Jane Muthoni Njagi, was allegedly brainwashed into signing over properties worth 1.5 billion shillings to Owor's church. That's $15 million, gone to a man who claims he chats with God daily.
We are even wondering why the church is involved, because this is a private entity.
A family fought to rescue her, claiming she appeared dazed and isolated from reality. That's the terrifying power of cult manipulation. Even when you're being robbed blind, you still thank the robber. Doctors and lawyers abandoned their careers to follow this prophet full-time. While his followers sleep in the dirt at outdoor crusades, Owor retires to luxury hotels. While they give up everything, he enjoys everything. That's not prophecy. That's a psychological abuse with a holy soundtrack. And just when you thought no one could outstage a prophet with a doctorate in delusion, enter a man in white robes. The one who filled stadiums, sold hope in tiny bottles, and somehow got arrested in connection to mass graves, only to come back even more famous. If Prophet Owor was the cult commander and Ng'ang'a the pulpit warlord, then Pastor Ezekiel Odero is the CEO of Salvation Business. Ezekiel built something bigger, a faith franchise with full production value. Think Solfest or Summertide, but with Bible verses, olive oil, and spiritual hysteria. At its coastal base, the New Life Prayer Center, tens of thousands line up like it's a Beyonce concert. But instead of merch, they're buying holy handkerchiefs. Instead of makeup, they're buying holy water. Instead of backstage VIP passes, they're paying for demonic cleansing. Ezekiel's rise was meteoric. TV appearances, radio airwaves, healing rallies so massive they made political campaigns look like birthday parties. Promised healing from cancer, HIV, barrenness, even poverty, all for a small seed to unlock God's blessing.
When you need cash urgently and can't find anyone to borrow from, it's really stressful, right? Let me share a secret.
And people believed because he looked clean, talked soft, wore white. He was calm, like an angelic HR manager sent from heaven to deliver miracles. But behind the soft-spoken voice was a spiritual empire raking in millions. By 2022, Ezekiel was commanding donations worth hundreds of millions of shillings, all tax-free. And just like every prosperity preacher before him, the math never mathed. But the real plot twist, in 2023, Ezekiel was arrested in connection to the Shakahola massacre. Yes, the same one involving Pastor Mackenzie's starvation cult. Authorities alleged Ezekiel's church was the key disposal site for some of the bodies. A funeral home allegedly linked to his ministry had suspiciously frequent deliveries. Did he kill anyone? No direct proof. But here's the creepy part. Even with hundreds dead and an ongoing investigation, Ezekiel was released. And when he returned, he was welcomed like a hero. Thousands flooded his church gates, offerings increased, and he even applied for a broadcast license to take his sermons national. Because in Kenya, getting arrested as a pastor doesn't damage your brand, it upgrades your credibility. So now the question is obvious. How does a man tied to a mass grave investigation walk free and reopen business like nothing happened? How do these obvious fraudsters keep getting away with it? Why don't authorities just shut them down? Well, that brings us to one of the most infuriating patterns in the whole expose. Here's the dirty secret about Kenya's fake pastors. They're essentially untouchable. Kanyari was exposed on national TV with video evidence of his scams. Result, never convicted of fraud. Gilbert Dea trafficked babies for decades. Result, acquitted due to insufficient evidence. Ng'ang'a allegedly caused a fatal car crash and threatened journalists. Result, acquitted, then back on the pulpit. The pattern is always the same. Scandal breaks, public outrage, government promises action, then nothing. Every time authorities try to regulate churches, requiring theological degrees, financial transparency, the religious lobby screams persecution. Politicians panic about losing votes than the president when fleeing State House during Gen Z demos. And the regulations get shelved faster than the promises he made during campaign rallies. Because God forbid we ask pastors to have actual training before they start collecting tithes and claiming miracles. The result? A regulatory vacuum where literally anyone can start a church, call themselves apostle, and begin fleecing the faithful from day one. It's the perfect crime. Steal millions, claim religious persecution when caught, and watch politicians bend over backwards to protect your religious freedom. But here's the most disturbing part of this entire saga. The thing that should terrify every person of faith is not just about the money these fake pastors steal. It's something far more valuable they destroy. Think about it. Every time someone like Kanyari gets exposed, it doesn't just hurt his victims. It makes every sincere believer question their faith. It makes people wonder if all pastors are genuinely real, if all miracles are tricks, if God himself is just another con game. These fraudsters don't just steal shillings, they steal hope. They don't just fake miracles, they make people stop believing in real ones. A grandmother who gave her last 310 shillings to Kanyari doesn't just lose her rent money. She loses faith, she loses her belief that God cares about suffering. A family that followed Pastor Mackenzie into Shakahola Forest don't just lose their lives. They represent hundreds of families who now fear trusting any religious leader.
Walikuwa nasema tu wenye walitoka Malindi walienda mbinguni. Wenye walitoka Malindi waliwaambia tu wenye walikufa pale Shakahola walienda mbinguni.
That's the true evil of the gospel of greed. It weaponizes the most sacred things human possesses, their relationship with the divine, and turns it into a business transaction. These are not just bad pastors, they are faith killers, soul murderers. They take humanity's deepest need for meaning and hope and turn them into their personal ATM. So what have we learned from this journey through Kenya's religious underworld? We've seen pastors sell fake miracles, steal babies, physically assault worshippers, literally sell salvation, convince followers to starve to death, run gambling scams, live like kings while their followers suffer, build personality cults and destroy minds, hide behind religious immunity, and ultimately murder the very faithful they claim to protect. The common trend: desperation meets manipulation, poverty meets prosperity theology, hope meets exploitation. These fake pastors succeed because they understand something dark about human nature. When people are desperate enough, they'll start believing anything. And when they believe something deeply enough, they'll defend it even when the evidence of fraud is overwhelming. But here's what gives me hope. Stories like these are getting told. Investigations are happening. People are waking up. The age of unquestioned pastoral authority is ending. The era of touch not my anointed is being challenged by a simple principle. If you claim to speak for God, then live like it. Real Christianity is not about sending mobile money for miracles. It's not about touching expensive garments or buying tickets to heaven. It's not about following personality cults or abandoning critical thinking. Real faith builds up, it doesn't tear down. It heals, it doesn't harm. And real servants of God don't need private jets, hanging swimming pools, or billion-shilling towers to prove their anointing. They prove it by serving you, not themselves. If this investigation opened your eyes, do me a favor, share the video. Not because I told you to, but because knowledge is the best defense against this